India's space odyssey. Why we're talking about this? It's important because the countdown is ticking. We're soon going to be hearing of a successful landing of Chandrayaan 3, our lander, with the rover that it houses. The Pragyan rover and the Vikram lander are going to successfully land on the South Pole, the dark side of the moon. Now, this is going to be a journey of exploration and innovation where science and politics converge under the cosmic canvas. Amidst anticipation and a fervor of a successful landing, the entirety of the nation has come together. Well, to celebrate and pray for the safe landing of Chandrayaan 3 mission module. From prototypes put up on display to the conduct of ancient rituals, we witness the collective spirit that unites our country as we await this historic moment. But beyond the moon's embrace, we will also delve into a different realm, one where politics intersects with scientific ambition. There you have it, the visuals on your screens. Havans are being carried out, pujas are being done for the safe landing of Chandrayaan 3. There you go, the picture of the lander and the rover now outside that lander already with people, because that's what the puja and the havan is all about. But when we're talking about a different realm, a realm where politics intersects with scientific ambition, from the visionary foundation that was laid by Jawaharlal Nehru to the launches orchestrated under the leadership of Vajpayee and Manmohan Singh, and the exponential boost under the stewardship of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, will uncover how politics has intricately woven itself into India's remarkable space odyssey. Now, as the countdown ticks on a new kind of race that is unfolding, a race for credit and recognition that I'm talking about. The spotlight is being shined on former Congress Prime Ministers and BJP Prime Ministers as they are propelled into the limelight, the Congress party asserting their role in the foundation of India's program, and the BJP, of course, quick to counter to that. So, fasten your seatbelts and prepare for an exhilarating journey. I'd really want all of you to join us in the comment sections down below as we navigate through history, politics and scientific innovation, uncovering the layers that have propelled India, like that rocket on your screens, towards the stars. This is not just a countdown to a touchdown, it's a countdown to history, a testament to human endeavor and aspiration. So let's dive right in and explore the depths of India's stellar journey. Introducing the guests, the esteemed set of panelists that we have joining us on the show today. Dr. G. Madhavan Nair, former chairman, ISRO, very warm welcome to you, sir. And Dr. B.K. Tyagi, scientist and former principal scientific officer, Vigyan Prasad, Government of India. Dr. Tyagi, always a pleasure to be speaking to you as well. Before we begin, gentlemen, let's listen into some excerpts. You know, when Indira Gandhi back in the day spoke about Rakesh Sharma, one of the first Indian citizen to enter space, and then of course a word coming there from Manmohan Singh, the former Prime Minister, and of course Narendra Modi as well back in the day, heaping praises on ISRO. Let's take a look at those particular reactions and then we'll come back for more.
11 तारीख को जो न्यूक्लियर टेस्ट हुआ, वो तो वैज्ञानिकों की करामत थी, मैं मानता हूं। लेकिन दुनिया की नाराजगी के बाद, इकोनॉमिक सैंक्शन लगने के बाद, हर प्रकार के आर्थिक घेराबंदी करने के बाद, ये अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी के नेतृत्व में समझा कि 13 तारीख को दोबारा न्यूक्लियर टेस्ट करके दुनिया को बता दिया हम झुकने वाले लोग नहीं।
You are doing wonderfully well, and I would like to compliment and congratulate each one of you and all those who are engaged in these nation-building activities. Space has become an instrument of national development in a manner which was never envisaged some 2-3 decades ago. That you have risen to the occasion is something which makes the nation feel very proud of your role as scientists, technologists, engineers, engaged in a task, as I said, of nation building, which makes us feel very proud. So my very best wishes, my congratulations. You have done exceedingly well, but as I often say, the best is yet to come, and you have my very best wishes to scale new heights.
सारे राष्ट्र का ध्यान आपके तरफ है और हम सब आपको बधाई देते हैं। यह एक ऐतिहासिक कदम है। मेरी आशा है कि इससे हमारा देश अंतरिक्ष के प्रति जागरूक होगा और साथ ही हमारे युवकों को साहसिक कार्य करने की प्रेरणा मिलेगी।
भारत के नागरिक होने के नाते आपको धन्यवाद देता हूं और मेरे क्रू मेंबर्स भी मेरे साथ आपको धन्यवाद देते हैं आपकी बधाई के लिए। जैसे आपने कहा हमारी ट्रेनिंग बहुत रवीश मल्होत्रा की और मेरी दोनों की ट्रेनिंग काफ़ी मुश्किल थी, मगर अभी हमें आके पता लग रहा है कि ये जो ट्रेनिंग हमें मिली ये ट्रेनिंग ज़रूरी थी।
Well, gentlemen, the BJP and the Congress are going to continue to, vie for recognition and appreciation. But it's always heartwarming to listen to former Prime Ministers, talking to Rakesh Sharma in that particular incident, or when, Prime Minister Modi talks about what Vajpayee did when it comes to the Pokhran testing and ISRO and the launch of Chandrayaan as well. And of course, let's not negate what Manmohan Singh's government did with the launch of the Mangalyaan and Chandrayaan 1. But away from all the stats, I'm just going to quickly go across to G. Madhavan Nair, the former ISRO chairman. Sir, how do you understand, how do you take a look at this intersection of political mileage with scientific ambition, how it has led us here, the journey from Nehru to Modi? Your viewpoint on that, sir?
All of us know that it is a Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru ji who gave the real foundation for the scientific advancement in the country. He has created a large number of research institutions, education institutions, and encouraged this scientific temper to be brought into the country immediately after the independence. In fact, we are really enjoying the fruits of those investment which is made during the Nehru era. I am happy to say that irrespective of the political color of the government, the prime ministers all the time were enthusiastic about supporting scientific development in the nation. And that's one of the reasons that we were able to make tremendous advancement in the field of atomic energy, space, or defense research, or agricultural research, and latest, and vaccine revolution which has happened in the country. So this shows that the leaders who have really guided the nation have shown the path for the scientific community to perform and enabled them and held their hands in achieving great success in the past. So in fact, that efforts are continuing even today. To take the example of space, we have come a long way from launching the small sounding rockets way back in 60s to the capability of knocking at the doors of the moon today. In fact, this is a tremendous leap forward in terms of the technological advancement in the launch vehicle systems, the spacecrafts, the advanced sensors, and the computer technology and the software and so on. So we have shown to the world that India can do on its own very complex technical technologies, and not only that, developing those systems, but we can also use those technologies for the benefit of the common man at large. The space is a good example where it has become part and parcel of the day-to-day life, wherein the farmers, the fishermen, the planners, the entertainment people, the communication, the computer connectivity, all these are enabled through the space-based system. And this is something which India can be proud of. So I'm happy that the political leadership always have been supportive of the R&D efforts which has taken place in the country and which has benefited the country as well.
All right, that's very nicely put and quite neutral in your answer over there as well. Dr. Tyagi, if I could come to you next, it's quite evident that there is political intersection with our scientific ambition vis-a-vis ISRO and India's space program. people are constantly comparing various prime ministers, you know, a boost under Prime Minister Modi. Vajpayee, only 6 launches happened, 24 launches under Manmohan Singh, but Manmohan Singh's tenure was the reason behind, you know, Mangalyaan and Chandrayaan 1. Should these prime ministers, the resources and the allocations, I mean, of course, there is politics at play over here, but should these different prime ministers essentially be compared? Should their tenures be compared? I mean, you've been a government man yourself. What's your point on that?
I think the very fundamental aspect is that I think from the very beginning, when we achieve our freedom, I think it was there was a realization in the part of in all the sector that science and technology should be the core at the center for the development, whether it's a social or economical or in science and technology per se, and whatever the plan or whatever the fruit we are harvesting today, it's not a effort of a single day. It take a whole of year, because they in between you say like the policy which was formulated, and then the program which has been taken up step by step, and whatever the stage which today which we have reached is an effort or sincere effort of scientific community of so many years altogether. But the one aspect, whosoever is the government at the center, they always gave unconditional support to all the scientific endeavors, to science and technology. We had different science and technology, scientific resolution technology policy, then science, technology and innovation policy, and latest the draft one. All has there is a continuation of that initial philosophical thought that science and technology should be the basic tool for the development. So I think no doubt. Because when you take a scientific endeavor, it takes some time to mature, and it's a whosoever want to take a credit, they can take it. But yes, even for the current government, the kind of emotional and personal touch by our Prime Minister has given, because you remember last time when we did Chandrayaan, in the last moment it could not achieve its objective.
Right.
There was not a soft landing. The way the Prime Minister console that the top scientists of the country who was heading that mission. So this is this something which was, I feel personally, is a new. It was not earlier. We were there. Things were there till because we have very specific that the clip which you have shown. Mrs. Gandhi is saying कि भारत स्पेस से कैसा दिखता है, when राकेश शर्मा से सारे जहां से अच्छा हिंदुस्तान हमारा. So for all those scientific achievements, scientific development, I think whether it was a nuclear energy or the space science or electronics, I think we had a unconditional support from all the government, enough budget, because initially when the ISRO was formed, the small amount when Vikram Sarabhai and Homi Baba were asking from the government, they in fact made a presentation and say why they want, like they convinced the bureaucracy that this money is required for the which will be helping us in future. So that even a bureaucratic, not only the government, the bureaucratic support is also unconditional. There's a realization on the part of everyone that science and technology should be the engine of all the development, whether it's a social, economical, environmental. Now we are talking about.
You pointed out that with Prime Minister Modi hugging K7 last time around and consoling, the former ISRO chairman, that gave a little bit of an emotional connect, with the people. The people hadn't seen this before, particularly. I'm going to read out a quote by Union Minister of State for Department of Space, Jitendra Singh, who's attributed the increase in the space of space missions to the Modi government providing more resources and an enabling policy milieu to it. Earlier, we were functioning with limited manpower, limited resource, not allowing others to participate, not allowing funds to come in. The government could not have afforded such huge funds, and therefore, in a way, we were actually incapacitating ourselves. This is what Jitendra Singh says. So would you like to throw some light on the boost that the India space program has received after 2014 under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi? In terms of resource allocation, are there some startling figures that you'd like to share with the viewers, sir?
I think it's the overall in the resource allocation in science and technology has increased manifold. Whether it's a space or atomic or general funding for R&D in the country. I think overall if we look at the allocation is increasing year by year, and no doubt the government has to sell itself also. If I don't want to make a political comment on any of these things. Yes, if you'll go by the data, that's true. I think there's nothing to comment on that. But look at the kind of money which was given in the previous and now, and considering the inflation or the actual cost of that money. In that way, yes, there is a substantial increase in science and technology.
No, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, sir. I'll tell you why. Actually, you know what? Let me just go across to the former ISRO chairman with us. Dr. Nair, at the same time, even as, and I'm pushing neither of you to give a political statement, because I don't want to politicize the Chandrayaan's countdown. The idea is to understand the political leadership behind ISRO's journey as well. So when people come out all guns blazing saying that the Congress did do nothing, it was the BJP under PM Modi that's done all the work. The Congress supporters come out and say that Mangalyaan happened under Manmohan Singh, Chandrayaan 1, the water that you found on the lunar surface happened under Manmohan Singh. So Dr. Nair, what's your take on that? Should we politicize ISRO's space journey as much as people actually are out there?
Well, I think I don't want to get into a comparison, but from what has happened in the recent past, maybe last 20 years if we take, UPA 1 under Manmohan Ji has done extremely well as far as support the space program is concerned, and problem setbacks, and there is a slowing down in funding as far as the space research is concerned. But it is after Modi ji is taking over that the space program has sprung back to its old glory, and new initiatives such as the Man mission and the semi-cryogenic engines and the Chandrayaan 2 and Chandrayaan 3, all these have been initiated. And again, he has given a direction to open up the frontiers of the research for the private players, so that more participation in terms of funding as well as manpower can take place. Certainly, there is a big boost to the space research in the country, and today we are standing shoulder to shoulder with the developed countries as far as the space assets are concerned. And not only that, our capability to take the spacecraft to orbit has been exploited for national missions as well as for the international missions. The fact that we were able to compete with the international agencies and capture 2 major launches for the US agencies shows that we are matured in the space business. And there is a lot of opportunities in this area, and there is a lot of space for the private players to take on the technology which has been mastered by the Indian Space Research Organization. So the government is fully supporting that, and that will lead to new initiatives in the future. The planetary exponential is concerned, our mission to Sun, the Aditya, is very much on the anvil, and the Man mission is about halfway through. And all this shows that we are on the right track, and we hope we will be able to be the world leaders as far as the space is concerned.
Absolutely, sir. And I want your opinion on a little bit, one little point more, because yesterday we were in conversation with Dr. Tyagi, and Dr. Tyagi, you told us that PSLV has become that niche service for the Indian Space Research Organization. Out of some 400 plus launches that we've carried out, some of those hefty payloads have gone up on the PSLV, and you spoke about the GSLV as well. Now, I know I don't want to compare Nehru to Modi. Nehru's situation was different. different. It was like shining the torchlight against the sun. Today we've got social media. You know, people, the government is also encouraging people to share their moon stories out, put some of their pictures with you know, their moon. What was it like back in the day when your grandmother used to tell you stories about the moon? All of that has actually changed. But PSLV, take a look at this, you know, Dr. Nair. The PSLV integration facility has reduced the time between missions. Earlier, different stages of the PSLV vehicle used to be assembled on the launch pad. Now it is integrated at the new facility and then brought to the launch pad. How significant is this particular change?
Well, I think it's one of the initiatives which is taken by Indian Spaces organization to involve the industries maximally, and this has benefited. Many of the subsystems are prepared in the industries, and the final integration alone is carried out at the launch complex by the ISRO team. So this has certainly streamlined the entire operation. If we look at this year's all the launch schedules, it is almost leaving like the Lufthansa Airlines is known for its timekeeping, and ISRO is also like that. They declare a date and time, and it takes off and delivers the spacecraft in the precise orbit. So ISRO has demonstrated not only capability in terms of performance, but also the reliability and also the accuracy by which the missions have been achieved. So that way, the PSLV has become a really workhorse not only for India, but also for the international users as well. The industry is playing a very major role in increasing the production as well. Now the GSLV Mark III has emerged as a medium-class launcher, which can capture a lot of payloads for the international market as well. But our production capability is limited. So here is this is the area in which the industry should come forward, invest, and enhance the production capability so that we can become a global player as far as the space-based services are concerned.
Absolutely. The PSLV and the GSLV niche services like Dr. Tyagi was talking about. Dr. Tyagi, how important is it that today's youngsters are, you know, more encouraged to learn about our space odyssey? You know, those black and white visuals, every time I see those visuals, I learn something new. It's a different learning curve every time because perspectives change with time, and you know, you take out something different every time you look at a documentary or one of those pictures of you know, Jawaharlal Nehru standing with Vikram, you know, Sarabhai, the recent developments. How important is it that our youngsters get more savvy and up to date with these scientific revolutions of our country?
I think now our younger generation is very, very fortunate in terms of having lot of, you know, sources for that information. When we were, you know, going to school and colleges, it was only the Doordarshan. So only the channel of any information used to be either the library or the Doordarshan. But now this lot of information through lot of sources, whether social media, internet, and I think every day they can update, you know, through like instant development, they can have, you know, access to all this kind of information. I think the idea is to develop, you know, to grasp that information and try to, you know, give a meaning to that, because only with the social media, what is happening by my interaction with the youngster is they are full of information, but the real significance and realizing the potential of that information for their own personality development, sometimes I find it is not up to that level. So my request or my you can say submission to all youngsters is collect that information and give a new use to that, because our new science, technology and innovation policy is talking about that. Use the existing information, use it in a new scenario, or give a new meaning to that by using your own imagination or your own input to that. So only the information only for entertainment or having more information, convert that information into knowledge. I think that is the must for that, for their own development and for the development of the country. Because this time we have to look at our education policies also talking about that. It's not only learning, having more information, but actually converted it into action or coming out with something. It may be in a form of a program or a product or something else. So it is same is true with the this the clippings of this space program, because it's very inspiring from where taking that cone on the bicycle or the carrier of the bicycle, and the main the rocket on the bullock cart, and now look at the kind of scenario which we have today. I think
Right.
it's more look like in a fairy tale, that kind of development.
It certainly
But
is.
it is reality. And now this space program, space industry will be growing into its many of its dimension, and we need more and more manpower, more and more resources. So all youngsters, I think they should fully exploit that potential of that space industry, which is going in very recent future.
Absolutely, and rightly said, because I mean the younger lot are the future astronauts, aren't they? Our future Kalpana Chawla's, Rakesh Sharma's, and Sunita Williams, if I could put it that way. But at the same time, Dr. Tyagi, going to put you in a little bit of a tight spot here. Refrain from answering if that's what you'd like. From whatever has happened earlier, from INCOSPAR to ISRO to what we're seeing today, the two major missions that were undertaken under the UPA-1 government, vis-a-vis Chandrayaan 1 and Mangalyaan, and the 47 launches that have taken place since 2014 under the Modi leadership. What do you think was more significant? The foundation for Chandrayaan, or our capacity and propensity to hit the stars far greater than what they had it in UPA-1?
I think there is no doubt the kind of the personal touch, that has been given by the current leadership to the space program. No doubt. I fully agree to that. But I think our space program is today, the state to which we have reached, it has in a background continuous development, because in the sometime it was delayed in between because of this cryogenic engine was denied to us. It took time for us to develop our own cryogenic engine, so that for the launching vehicle and all that. So it is a constant effort. So main, the effort is by the scientific community, by the ISRO, the ISRO scientists, whether it was government A or government B. No doubt, we are getting more, exposure in terms of because now the development of the social media and other communication channel it is an optimum level. So there is a more, influx of information, a publicity kind of thing. So that is there, but we should not forget, the background. It's a continuous process. It cannot be, whatever we are seeing, cannot be, attributed to either A or B. It is like if we are at stage D, so it should be from A, B, C, D till D. But as I'm saying, the personal, attention, personal interest, whichever the top leadership has taken, and in the Modi ji, I think this is something which is
new,
innovated, or infuse a lot of enthusiasm and energy into the scientific community. That is true. That is true. I should say that. Yeah.
All right. Well, your point taken. Dr. Nair, away from politics, but at the same time administration woes, because you've been an ISRO chairman yourself. PV Narasimha Rao, Indira Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Manmohan Singh, Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Right now, what do you think are some of the challenges that ruling dispensations face? Because managing budget is also a problem. Can you throw some light on that? You've been an ISRO former ISRO chairman. What are some of the challenges that come through from the government? Because I understand the government wants to work in tandem with the Space Research Organization, but sometimes both parties can't meet each other in the eye. What are some of those challenges like? We're also talking about political journey of ISRO, right?
Well, one thing, the Indian space program, the success is mainly because of the long-term vision and careful planning, which has been started by Dr. Vikram Sarabhai himself and followed up by Dr. Dhawan, Professor U.R. Rao, Dr. Kasturangan, myself, and array of chairmen. Now, in this, you must understand one thing. The way the space program is administered is different from the conventional science and technology departments. It has got a commission mode of working, which is identical to that what exists in the atomic energy as well. Here, the Space Commission, which is headed by the technocrat, is given the full authority and freedom to implement the programs once it is defined in an overall manner. ISRO has been working based on a sliding 10-year profile, and that 10-year program and long-term goals, and trying to maximally utilize the resources to achieve the best results has what has led to the present situation together. Of course, it has been a progressive growth. Once you have a technology development phase, the things were a bit slow, but once the technology is developed, it became a production phase. The industries could rope in and they could contribute significantly to making in numbers and so on. And by and large, it is a long-term goal, and the approval of the government to implement such long-term goals which has helped ISRO to perform so far. Now, coming to the governments are concerned, I have the opportunity to work in the right from the beginning, and I have seen that the Prime Minister or the other political leaders never interfered with the Space Commission or its activity. They have given full freedom. The same thing is with Modi ji. He has looked at the overall program, overall targets, and given the overall guidance and leadership and made available the resources. And he has given full freedom for the space to perform. So this freedom of performance, which has been granted to this organization exclusively, is the main reason for the success story. And Modi ji continues to give that, and he has got long-term vision. In fact, I recall the first Independence Day speech, he spent 5 minutes elaborating on the advantages of the space technology and how it can transform the life of the people. Of course, I have met him as a chief minister while he was in Gujarat, and then just after the Chandrayaan mission, if I remember correctly, and he was very enthusiastic. He was the one person who immediately grabbed on the idea of teleconferencing using satellites to connect to all the districts in Gujarat way back in 2006 or 7. And then onwards, I think the space has been in his mind. And the first Independence Day speech clearly indicates that, and he is followed up with that. He has given full support to the space program without showing much of visibility, and at the same time having the oversight as well as the guidance for the program. So certainly we are on the right track. We have a long way to go. We had to make new rocket systems much more powerful than what we have today, maybe 10 times larger than what is today, the semi-cryogenic engine and the human space flight, not only to the around Earth, but to the moon or Mars as well. And several things have to be done. So the routine production and launch job has to be taken by industry, and the Space Research Organization should be concentrating on the advanced programs for the future. We are already on in par among the developed countries as far as space is concerned, and this leadership position should be maintained.
Absolutely, sir. That's actually a very good observation that you have made, with the Prime Minister's Independence Day speech. And just like Dr. Tyagi was also talking about, the Prime Minister hugging K. Sivan, the former ISRO chairman, that's like an emotional touch. Dr. Tyagi, would you like to share a little bit of an anecdote? I mean, we've heard about Indira Gandhi's, conversation with Rakesh Sharma. We've seen what happened with Prime Minister Modi and K. Sivan. Dr. Nair here telling us, how Narendra Modi, when he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat, inculcated the space satellite technology and connected all the districts. Any anecdote, any particular story that you'd like to share with the viewers here?
Not only that, I think whatever is the latest technological development, when Modi ji was in Gujarat itself, those has been already implemented, because if you look at the solar energy the thing, and there's something very interesting which I came to know very recently, you can generate your own electricity and you can sell it if you are not using it. So that scheme is in Ahmedabad is already there. You have a panel on your terrace, and if you have a surplus, it will go into the main grid, and your budget and your bill will be cut down. So this is something like we have an energy crisis also. So these are shows the scientific development or scientific temperament. So this is something very interesting from the very beginning. All our prime minister, they gave a lot of importance to science and technology, and it was a realization on their part that if we have to take India to make a modern country, I think we have to, this engine for that growth, for that modernity, should be science and technology, and that we see in the deeds of all the prime minister till date, with including Modi ji and Mrs. Gandhi and Narasimha Rao ji and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. I think we can say the modern architecture of he used to call the science and technology laboratory as the modern temples.
Yeah, dams are modern temples.
Like
dams are modern temples of India.
Temple. These are the science and technology. These laboratories are our modern temple. They will take us to the to a newer world, a newer era of in days to come. And this is happening. This is happening. But fortunately, India is very fortunate that this kind of emphasis, the realization of importance of science and technology, that has remained, the continuous focus or thrust by all the government. So something very interesting. And all the whatever initially, like whether it's space, nuclear, agriculture, now and whatever is the newer field are emerging, like cyber and the nano. And everything is included and being funded, and policy or whatever the scientific community, there is no interference, as Madhavan Saab is saying, that there was no interference by the bureaucracy or by the top leadership into as far as science and technology is concerned. So that's why that realization is there, commitment is there, the financial and emotional also, and we are harvesting those fruits also in terms of whether it's our Chandrayaan or our Gaganyaan and also the Aditya. So this is the scenario.
We're also looking forward to a Gaganyaan and an uncrewed mission. We're also looking forward to LUPEX, the a special collaborative space mission with the United States. So of course, the future certainly looks bright. Now, gentlemen, many thanks for talking on the political aspect of this, the political journey of ISRO. Let's also talk about what's actually happening. Chandrayaan 3. I mean, we're looking towards a successful touchdown. Now, 2-3 things that I wanted to touch upon. There is recent developments that it might get postponed. The word coming from ISRO, it might be postponed. What conditions, Dr. Nair, do you think might lead to a possible pushing of the landing time?
Well, I don't have the exact details, but what I can guess is that the lander has been detached from the main propulsion module, and it is in the orbit around the moon. So calibration of that orbit very precisely is very important. So whether that was completed on time is one aspect. When also all the instruments have been tested and confirmed their performance is normal. So those operations will be proceeding, and only on satisfactory completion of all those checks, the ISRO will decide to give the command for the landing.
I think, Dr. Nair, the idea is to derive maximum utility from our space probes when they're on the lunar surface. We should make absolute and maximum usage of the one lunar day and the sunlight on the lunar surface.
Certainly, that is one aspect, and more than that, we are going to a totally uncharted territory. We don't know there is no beacons, there is no direction, there is no GPS, and we have to be on our own using the cameras and the laser systems and so on. So we have to calibrate all those things and make sure that performance is absolutely perfect before we attempt the launching. the final landing operation, is extremely complex operation, a sequence of events, which is carried out autonomously by the computer, and all the preparation. ISRO has always been cautious in such steps. They will make sure everything is normal before the final command is given.
On that note, gentlemen, Dr. Tyagi, Dr. Madhavan Nair, always a pleasure to be speaking to the both of you. I don't think there'd be any two people more better than the two of you, this particular duo, that I could speak about the political journey of ISRO without being very political or apolitical and all of that, being what side of the divide in line you're actually on. Many thanks for joining with us on this particular note. Of course, I am missing out on Group Captain V.N. Jha, because I really love the way he uses artifacts in his home as diagrams and really showcases the viewers what's really happening. But a former ISRO chairman, and Dr. Tyagi, your opinions have always helped the show out. We're looking forward, ladies and gentlemen, to the Chandrayaan 3 successful landing, but our focus today was on the leaders who shaped India's space odyssey, be it the temples of modern India, where Pradhan Mantri Jawaharlal Nehru back in the day was trying to call out the scientific labs as the stepping stones, the dams as the stepping stones, to today when we're finally looking at Chandrayaan 3, talking about a possible colonization of the moon. Who did what under whose government is not the question here. The idea is that it's India's flag up there, it's India's that is taking those forward strides. On that note, this is Kabir Naqvi signing off. Many thanks for joining us here on News9 Live. Stay tuned.
Adani, one of the richest men in the world, or a business honcho, accused of manipulating the market.
अदानी जी 609 नंबर से दूसरे नंबर तक कैसे पहुंचे?